सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम। As we saw yesterday, there is a section in the 13th chapter from verse 7 to 12, and while concluding these verses, Bhagavan says, Etad Jnanamiti Proktam. This is called knowledge. And he says further, Agnanam yat ataha anyatha. Other than this is called Agnanam. Why it is called knowledge? Because it is a means for knowledge. The proper word for the means for knowledge is pramanam. Proper word for knowledge is prama. And the right word for the object of knowledge is prameya. And the word for the knower is pramata. What is prama? Asandigdham abhaditam gnanam prama. Sandigdham means with doubts. Asandigdham, that which is free from doubts. Abhaditam, not available for any kind of negation or refutation. That kind of knowledge is prama, and that is knowledge. And as I said yesterday, from this standpoint of view, all apara vidya, apara gnanam, any knowledge about the world outside is not prama. It's subject to negation, is subject to doubt. And as we said yesterday, what is this worldly knowledge? It is ignorance in a sense. More you know, more you discover what all you don't know. Like a typical Indian example, we have general practitioners at the end of the corner of the street. That general practitioner will give medicine for all kinds of disease. Some fever is there, he will give some pink tablet and yellow tablet and blue tablet and some syrup and all that. Someone comes with a back problem and knee problem, he will treat them. Someone has gastro problem, he will treat them. Some heart patient, he will treat them. But a specialist, and more so super specialist, will not give medicine to his wife also. Of course, maybe because she doesn't pay, that may be a problem. But he doesn't treat, he says, go to my friend. Now, to gain this Brahma, and one thing about the knowledge is two things. Knowledge is vastu tantram, not open to your choice. Karma is vastu tantram. You have a choice. As I said yesterday, if I ask you to take this from me, you have a choice to come and pick it up, not to come and pick it up, and ask your spouse, hey, go and pick it up. Kartum, akartum, anyatha va kartum. But when I say, look at this, you have no choice. Gnatum, agnatum, anyatha gnatum, na shaknoti. You have no choice to know, you have no choice not to know, and you have no choice to know it otherwise. You cannot say, Swamiji, you are holding a yellow rabbit in your hand. You may say, but you know what you are saying is not what you know. We have no choice but to know this is a white tissue, full stop. One thing, vastu tantram. Second, knowledge is immediate. The moment the pramata, knower, comes in contact with the known through proper and adequate means of knowledge, there is no choice that knowledge will take immediately. That is why you pick up certain smell, whether you like it or not. There is a smell around and there is a nose with you which is clean, not cold, and you are there. You pick up not only smell, but the typical American picks up pollens also. And that's an allergy problem. In India, there is a virus problem. Any disease doctor will say virus. Here is a pollen issue. This virus is a technical term. Virus means I don't know. That's all. I treat you. And there is one medicine we have. Antibiotic, like those songs, lakh dukho ki ek dawa, aaja pyare, antibiotic. That's all you have to change. They just keep treating, it is virus. Anyway, coming back to this, it is immediate. If that is the case, here I, the student, am here to learn the Shastra. I want to know Brahman, I want to know myself as Sachidananda. There is a teacher who is teaching Shastra. And I said yesterday you require a teacher who knows how to handle the words of Shastras. One who knows Shastra Hridayagna, as we discussed, like act without expectation. This is all useless, British thing. One who knows what to speak and more than that, what not to tell. The teacher, one who doesn't use a word which can create any ambiguity or any subjective interpretation in the mind of a student. Yesterday I told you, We would never say Atma is beautiful, Atma is divine. These are all words which can create a subjective perception. So, Shrotriya Acharya is there. Pramanam Vedanto Nama Upanishad Pramanam Shastram teaching is there. Gita and Upanishad is a means of knowledge. Problem is peculiar. Praptasya Prapti. Yesterday we discussed. And I am there, one who wants to know how come it doesn't take place. And quite often you might have experienced also, it does take place. You get a glimpse of it. But that knowledge seems to be inhibited, seems to be clouded, suddenly gets clouded after some time. Sometimes I use the word enjoy. Actually, you enjoy the class. You know when do you enjoy? Because you are closer to the self, closer to the knowledge. Knowledge is the ultimate sukham. Because Atma is Chit, Gyanum. Gyanum is sukham. Therefore, Vidyanande Brahmananda. You don't require an experiential happiness. You don't require an object to be happy. All of us have had an experience of such ananda in childhood, like even suppose you like mathematics or some geography or some history, and teacher asks a question and you are the one who can answer. What a joy. You enjoyed doing the homework of that subject which you liked. The Vidyananda is Brahmananda. Because Anand, knowledge, Sat Chit, Ananda is not a quality, it's a Swarupa. That which is Sat is Chit and that which is Chit is Ananda. So Chit means Jnanam and Jnanam is Ananda. That's why that Archimedes came out, Eureka, Eureka. Lost even the body consciousness, body awareness. Anyway, so when you enjoy the class, that means you can see as though what the teacher was talking. The knowledge was, I am Anand, I am Purna, etc. Moment the class is over, that knowledge gets as though inhibited by something. As though you seem to lose sight of yourself. The self which you want to be. The self which is most coveted for you. Self that is sought after you, you have deliberately chosen to gain the self, seems to be lost. It is exactly like the traditional examples we can learn. In those days, the people used to travel on foot. There were not amenities like this. And they were, suppose they used to carry the water, they used to carry the luggage, and then they want to drink water on the way. They see a pond. And in the pond, when the fellow looks at it, he's so thirsty, the water is so still and quiet. He looks at it, my God, he sees himself or herself. All quiet water. And he just puts his hand like this and takes the water and drinks. While drinking the water, few drops fall under. While taking the water, he is disturbing the outer layer of the water. So it starts shaking. And next time when he puts the hand, he loses himself. Similarly, when the mind is quiet, with teaching capacities or abilities or communicative skills of a teacher, your mind is held in suspension for some time. Suspension of what? Suspensions of your likes and dislikes. Suspension of what? Suspense of list of things to be done, all your agenda. That agenda comes out when you do japa. You know, when the fellow sits from japa, all work to be done comes out. And then gets up and takes the mobile. Hello, what are you doing japa? Everything is suspended. Momentarily your memory is suspended. All the pains that you are holding back in your heart is suspended. All the ambitions and unfulfilled desires and things to be done are suspended. You are totally absorbed into the teaching. That is quiet mind. You see it, and the moment you get out, it as though gets lost. Like even the sun gets clouded. The cloud covers the sun and you miss the heat and the light of the sun. Just half an hour ago it was a scorching sun. And within half an hour, because of the cloud, you start feeling cold. It was so pleasant. Then suddenly it is painful. Similarly, while listening, it is so pleasant and joyful and happy experience. And afterwards, I become what I was in the past. I become dukhi. This shows there are some secondary obstacles. Primary obstacle in self-knowledge is self-ignorance. This ignorance, though I just mention it and not deal with it because it's our topic, is twofold. It not only covers the self, it not only, there is non-apprehension about who am I, there is a misapprehension about who am I. There is a confounded confusion that I am this, I am body-mind complex. That's okay. To remove that, there is a Shastra Pramana. But there is one more confusion. Secondary obstacle. Exactly like the fellow has some gastro problem and he or she needs an invasive surgery. But before they can do invasive surgery, invasive treatment, diabetes is 300 plus count. Till that diabetes is brought to some normal manageable level, you cannot operate the person. So similarly, secondary obstacles are there, and that is my own self. That secondary obstacle is my own mind. Why this is necessary? As I mentioned yesterday, this is unique knowledge. This Brahma Vidya is unique in a sense. In all other discipline of knowledge, the knower is different from the known and wants to remain separate from the known. Any discipline. The knower is studying some botany, some plants. He or she is different from a given plant and wants to remain the same. Doesn't want to become a cactus. Suppose he is doing a research on the cactus. Maybe his nature may be like that cactus. Ask the spouse, she will tell you. But then he doesn't want to be that. Any discipline. Here, I am not simply interested in knowing there is some Satchidananda Atma. I want to be Ananda. I am not simply interested in knowing Shantam Shivam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vigneya Mandukya. It is not a Shivam Atma, Shantam Atma. I want to be. Even when I am chanting, some of Indians are popular, that stotra, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I want to be Chidananda. I want to be that Shivaha. I want to be that Ananda. That requires a special qualification. That what is that? As we said yesterday while concluding, if that self is Purnananda, is Ananda, limitless Ananda, if I am, I need to be relative Ananda. If self is Nitya Shuddha, I should be relatively Shuddha. If self is Purna Shanta, I should be relatively Shanta. How? What deprives me from being relatively Shanta? What deprives me from being relatively happy? What deprives me being relatively detached? That is, as I said, my own mind. Very beautifully mentioned in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita when Bhagavan says, Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuhu atmana. I am my own friend and I am my own enemy. Now let us understand which mind. But people say also, I hope you don't mind. The fellow says, no, I don't mind. That means he doesn't have mind. No, this English has no word, proper word for this mind which we are talking about. In Sanskrit, right word is antakaranam. I'm sure you must have studied, since some of you are very old students. There are 4 facets or aspects of antakaranam: manaha, buddhihi, chittam, ahankara. Or you can say 2 aspects, mana and buddhi. Buddhi includes ahankara, manas includes chittam. Whenever there is buddhi, there will be manifestation of ahankara. Animals don't seem to have much of a buddhi. There is no self-ego. Our baby, human baby, at the age of 2 and plus, the ego manifests. Buddhi opens up. Buddhi is inferential capacity to think in abstraction, 3-dimensional thinking. Buddhi can infer the things, can gain the knowledge that starts by 2. And along with this capacity, ego comes out. And ego is nothing but bundle of likes and dislikes. It starts manifesting its own likes and dislikes, preferences. Before the 2, it will listen to parents and grandpas and grandmom. Now, what they say, no. If they say don't, yes. Therefore, they say in English, terrible 2. That is a terrible 2. And there is terrible 12 also. They say like this, when they send in the space shuttle, the first engine is fired up, and the second engine fires, and that spaceship is thrown above the gravitational force of the earth. The first firing is terrible 2, second firing is teenage 2. Okay? Same problem mom will have. Whatever she says, the child will resist it. No way. I like this American. My way or highway. Anyway, coming back to this, that manas is the seat of emotions. Buddhi is a seat of knowledge. You may change cognitively in terms of your understanding, in terms of your values, in terms of your clarity, in terms of your goals, but that doesn't guarantee that person will change emotionally. And you cannot dismiss emotions. As Pujya Swamiji used to say, you can never bypass the emotions. In fact, it is a part of every relationship, every interaction. Everything or anything, don't think that we have emotions only for our father and mother and husband and wife and children and friend. Everywhere there is emotions. Oh, I like this color, that is emotion. I don't like this color, that is emotion. I like this car, that's an emotion. Even on your dining table, you have emotion for the given chair. Therefore, in the family, who sits where is pakka. This is the seat of daddy, this is mom, this is grandmom, this is brother, this is sister, emotions. Same wood, same plate and same food. But if someone occupies that seat, come on, vacate my chair. Of course, in India, people have a lot of attachment for chair. They don't know how to retire. That is another issue. But here at least we have only 2 terms. People at 80 also aspire to be Prime Minister in India, That's okay. Emotions. And these emotions inhibits your knowledge. These emotions clouds your wisdom. These emotions as though stifles you, obstructs you from owning up what you are or what you know. And often, quite often, in many people, these emotions are so powerful that they hijack all wisdom and all knowledge. I am not talking of simple Atma Vidya. Even day-to-day life, Vyavhara Gyanum, the person is not willing to accept. And unfortunately, some of these emotions are not verbalized, are not manifest, they remain in your unconscious in a very strong seed form. This is how, whether you like it or not, this is how the process of growth is. Certain emotions are like that Shruti, are like that background music. They are there in my mind. And they are so strong, still I fail to notice them. I fail to identify them. Forget about controlling them. They are there. In the process of the growth, every child undergoes some kind of emotional traumas. Every moment, because the perception of a child is different from the perception of the parent. It has its own limitations, both physical limitations and cognitive limitations. It just cannot understand certain things. It just cannot comprehend certain things. And grown-up parents also have limitations. They do not comprehend that emotions. In psychology, they give a very classic example. They say, this child wanted to go out on a weekend and so excited that we'll go into this fair and enjoy and all that. And the parents made a deal. It was not too young a baby, but almost 5, 6 years, and that too American, little XL baby, heavy baby. So they made a deal. We will take you to this fair, provided you walk on your 2 feet. We are not going to carry you. You will have a time, whatever you want, we will take you to those rides and enjoy it. His baby said, yes, all promised, deal done. Confirmed twice or thrice. And the plan was to spend minimum 5 to 6 hours. They drove the baby, and baby was so excited. And to his cousins, everybody, I'm going there, I'm going to sit in that ride, and going to eat this ice cream and blah, blah, blah. All went on. And was sitting in a car like a pet dog, waiting for it to come, And they landed. Baby was the first one to jump out of the car, excited. Within 15 minutes, baby started crying. And within half an hour, it became so hard for the parents that they decided to go back. It was crying and making all types of also problem for them. They tried to carry, then it is quiet. And if they put him down, parents reminded her, honey, American, okay, not Indian. We had made a deal. You agreed that he will walk. Now come on, get up. The moment gets down, walks 2 steps, I'm bored. She just couldn't understand. And they cannot carry such a heavy baby. They were also helpless. They wanted to help the baby, wanted the baby to enjoy this fair, wanted them to take to the ride. The father kneeled down on his knees and said, what's the problem? Why are you crying? Blah, blah. Then it clicked to him. The baby was so short and the place was so crowded. Baby could see only the legs and buttocks of all people. Therefore, it didn't like it. Moment lifted, baby had a fresh air and a vision. It wanted to see. So whenever I talk to parents, I tell, this is the best parenting. Youngsters, I take workshops of them. One of the sutra I give them. Think like baby and act like elder. See what's their problem. How they feel. You have to be baby again. Parents are in typical Gujarati. Why? What is there? Why are you crying? That is what your problem. It is not baby as a problem. If you see the situation of baby, you will also cry. But we can't. And even if you want to see, and even if you have seen, you are helpless sometimes. The situation, the societal norms, the societal infrastructure, the lifestyle, etc. prevents you to satisfy the baby. Like here a typical example. Baby doesn't want to lose mother. It can't afford. We say out of sight is out of mind. But for a baby, out of sight is out of world. When mom goes, baby thinks, I have lost the mom for good. And she has no choice but to go for work. All such experiences makes the baby feel so insecure. We think we are trying to make him bold and say, go up alone, there is no ghost. Baby goes, but it becomes more insecure. There is a feeling. So by the time all this bhaya, fear, worry, anxiety, insecurity is felt all throughout the childhood, sense of helplessness. Because physically helpless. I want to do things, I can't do this. And the top of it, parents also say, you don't touch it, you can't do that. All this creates a sense that, as Puja Swamiji would say, we are blessed that it goes to the flip side of ego. It goes to your memory. Like you have in mobile, iCloud, permanent transfer. In mobile, unfortunately, remains here also. But then think of this arrangement, it goes to iCloud. And it occupies a space. It goes in the unconscious mind. Sense of low self-esteem. Sense that I cannot do anything. And somehow this baby has undergone certain experiences where he cannot trust anybody. Those people who do not know how to condone other person. And even in spouse I have seen. A small mistake or small utterance of the spouse, I will never forget you. I cannot condone you. It is, born out of distress. Childhood distress. When this person, that self-condemnation, the distress is this person who don't know how to trust, cannot condone others. And when they don't condone others, more they don't do, more distress get reaffirmed. And day by day, they become more distrusting. And then they say, Swamiji, you don't know, world is like this, never trust anybody. Either leave something, no. And when you can't trust, you are in an anxiety. When you have anxiety, there are apprehensions and fear. Anxiety always breeds stress. There is a lot of stress. Person who do not trust are always stressful. Like a typical father I have seen. They are too perfectionist father. Keep telling, do this way, go there, park the car this way, belt this way. Every instruction they give. And 5 times they ask, have you understood properly? Child says, yes. No, you may make mistake. Remember that. Often, these perfectionist fathers' children tell, I have understood that, don't worry. They have not thought of it also. It gets tired of listening. And couple of times it makes mistake, they start blaming. You don't know. You always make mistake. You are useless. That is all. Is they call it heavy unconscious. So insecure, so distrusting, so stressful. And having heard Vedanta, I am Ananda, and after half an hour, the stress comes out because of distress. It loots away the wisdom. It inhibits your knowledge. It clouds all the wisdom. And this fellow said, everything is mithya, not this. You be careful. Suddenly, he or she starts giving satyatvam to the experience. These unconscious, what they call it, or in the Shastra, though they call unconscious, we have been talking since ages. In Upanishad said it is kashaya, which is there, the fear. And such person don't see the situation as it is presented. They see the situation as it is programmed here. They are programmed. The fellow may not mean anything, but he interprets it, he or she. And this programming, as I said, clouds all kind of the wisdom the person has, and therefore cannot hold back to the knowledge. I am Shantaha. No, that is later. First be careful. Stress. What we call it as emotional immaturity. That's a secondary obstacle. There are few means to grow out of this unconscious. One, as I said, you cannot bypass the emotions, as he would say. You have to address yourself. You have to pay attention to your emotions. And as I said yesterday, today problems of have-nots are almost 5 to 10%. Technology has created a heaven here. 80 to 90% problems are relationship problems. And when they have only 1 or 2% to relate. We grew up relating a cricket team. Siblings and cousins, and why cricket? 2 cricket teams we had. You relate to 15, 20 people and no issues. This is all because of heavy unconscious. One of the means to address this is bringing in Ishvara in our life. To live a life in the awareness of Ishvara. In fact, these modern Western psychologists, the prominent psychologists of US accept today people have lots of stress and emotional problem. One of the first 3 causes among them is, they say, alienation from God. More you see Ishvara in your life, more you can accept these emotions. Mind you, when you discover, as I said, nobody discovers this emotion. The person has anger, person has stress, fear, anxiety, insecurity. They all express in different ways. But he doesn't recognize. Even after recognizing as a seeker, you should know that don't be too emotional to your emotions. Don't create a new problem that I am useless. And if you are married, the spouse will confirm that. And that gets confounded, that I am useless. No, it's okay. Be objective. It is typical. And I see this Swami is talking, give up anger. Anger is bad. And they give all stories. This is another thing. They communicate through stories. Stories should be supportive, not the primary thing. Some examples, met Abdul Kalam and blah blah, chow. But people are mediocre in thinking and they buy. And then this fellow comes home, I have decided I am not going to be angry. She doesn't show any reaction. Did you hear? I have decided to give up anger. She just gives a stare. Becomes a little serious. I have decided not to become angry. Okay, you got it? I got it. She smiled. Don't take me lightly, I'm serious. I know you are serious. She again takes it lightly. No, honey, I really mean it. This time I'm going to give up. You give up anger. It is in your gotra. I know my father-in-law and my mother-in-law told me about her father-in-law. So don't tell me. Whatever it is, you just be careful. I mean it. Okay, let us see how many days. I'm telling you I mean it, slowly. I'm telling you I mean it. You may mean it. I am telling you. Udhari anger. In communicating that I am giving up anger is anger. And such a person, this happened to me, came to me. And his presence of mind, he tells me, Swamiji, this anger doesn't go. This anger doesn't go. Udhar bhi anger. You have to be objective. It's okay. There is a problem, fine. First thing is never ever condemn yourself. Na atmanam avasadayet. Uddhared atmana atmanam na atman avasadayet. Never. First means, as I said, prayer. Second is reaching out actions. Karma. Reaching out action, especially in modern times, can be looked upon as twofold. Your duty itself is a reaching out action. All Matru Deva Bhava, Pitru Deva Bhava, Atithi Deva Bhava, all these three, Runam, etc. is reaching out. So first commit oneself to duty. The committing myself to my own obligatory karmas is a means to process my unconscious. In modern times, any kind of contributory action, reaching out action for the welfare or the benefit of the humanity per se, or those actions where my personal joys, my personal sense of security and joy is not at stake. I do it for the sake of contributory. If I use Pujya Swamiji's words, any contributory action is a means to processing. Contributory means even just organizing an event, even just working for a society or working for a nation or working for somebody, that is the means. Which actions? Remember, in those actions. Not that I was free and did it. I go out of my comfort zone. contribution either in terms of money, contribution either in terms of time, contribution either in terms of resources, should not be within my comfort zone. It should pinch me. I should go extra mile to do the things. I should put myself to my own inconvenience and do this. That only is called seva. Not comfort zone. Like typical example, when everybody has eaten and food is extra and you give away. That is not contributory. Before eating you invite atithi and feed. That is contributory. So, I go out of my comfort zone and then contribute. In other words, seva. More so today in the modern times, to spread this knowledge, to work to protect our culture, to work to protect our wisdom, Gita and Upanishad, is one kind of Rishi Runam. We are indebted to our Rishis. Not only Rishis, our forefathers, the Pitru Runam. We got certain samskaras, especially in this area, part of the world. One may give some time to inculcate those samskaras. One may contribute time and energy to spread or to reach out in terms of this wisdom, which is unique contribution of Hindu Dharma. And those contributory actions are means to remove this secondary obstacle. Last but not the least, with reference to this chapter, or with reference to when I say duties, kartavya, ethical life itself is a means for processing this. Certain values and certain attitudes one needs to cultivate within oneself. Those values and attitudes helps one to address to those kashayas which is there in unmanifest form, non-verbalized form, non-grossified forms that is necessary. And therefore, Lord emphasizes these 20 values and attitudes, which helps to remove the secondary obstacle, which will be the means to gain a necessary mind through which I can gain the knowledge and hold on to this knowledge also. Gnana prapti and gnana nishtha both. Knowledge is there, but may not be inhibited, may be inhibited by some emotional issues. Those inhibitions, those obstructions are removed through these attitudes and values. Before getting into the details of this, yesterday I just talked something about it. Let us understand how to cultivate these values. How to cultivate this attitude, one, and why to cultivate. Because unless we have a clarity about how and why, it is almost impossible to imbibe this. Or it should not become, as I mentioned in the concluding session, it should not be the ideals for me. I should do this, I should do this, I should not do this, should not do this. These slogan bajis, sutras, doesn't help. Now we have table calendars also, daily new sutras. It is good to get some inspiration and momentarily commitment. But then, often, in case of a sincere seeker, such thing causes more problem. What problem? Anger doesn't go. I know I should speak truth, but Swamiji, I am speaking untruth. I know I should not do. We need to understand. First and foremost, what is a need? As you know, we'll just go through it quickly. Since we are blessed with the buddhi, one aspect of buddhi is that we have capacity to know, capacity of abstraction, capacity of inference, and capacity of assertion, ahankara. That buddhi is a capacity to choose, freedom of choice. We are blessed. And these three Shakti you must have heard: Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. This Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti are subtle at the buddhi level. On the basis of the decisions of the buddhi, there is a Kriya. And Kriya also there is a choice. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. Since you enjoy the freedom, every freedom needs to be directed or governed properly. That is why any given country, moment it achieves freedom, and moment their independent constitution comes into the existence, they declare the rights of the citizen. Along with this, these are the duties or limitations to fundamental rights. Exactly like a car. When humanity learned to enhance the speed, you may think of this. For millennia, our forefathers knew only horse and camels and elephants. They could not go beyond that speed. And within a couple of centuries, we are talking of the speed of sound, supersonic. Moment you have a speed, moment you have a steering to turn left, right, forward, backward, moment you have a vehicle which can enhance your speed, it ought to have brakes with it. You know, just think of this. Why there are brakes in a vehicle or a cycle or a car? Some say to reduce the speed. You may say to stop. You may say to avoid accident. No. Brakes are there to enhance the speed. Think of this. Try to drive a cycle without brake. You will not go beyond 10. And that too with your legs down, ready to... And if it is a brake, you will go at 40, 50. People say, why brakes in life? It is to enhance your speed. Not to control or curtail your freedom. The brakes in life are to enhance your freedom. Remember, brakes are there to enhance your speed, not to reduce the speed. In fact, any vehicle without brake, you cannot drive beyond the speed. Coming back to this, since we have freedom, as I said, if a vehicle is created, then regulatory laws come into being. Back home in India, in those villages, even now, you don't find these signboards, speed 25 kilometers only. And another board, 25 kilometers speed ends. No left turn, no right turn, no parking, nothing, but they have only bullocks. The fellow hits the bullock, Bullocks runs how much fast? 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers. From here to here it will run and then it goes. No need. You don't need. All the traffic laws and regulations come into being moment you have speed. You want your freedom to go fast, go slow, go left, go right, go backward. All the freedom is there. No U-turn, etc. All the laws come, signals come. Similarly, when we have this freedom, what are the laws? What we call it as what is proper and what is improper. What is correct, what is not correct. That what is proper, that what is correct is called do's. That what is improper, that what is incorrect are called don'ts. Or what we call it as ethics. Bhagavan, who gave us this freedom, has also given that wisdom to know what is proper and improper. Like even Bhagavan, who gave this capacity to monkey to jump from this branch to that branch. Bhagavan has instinctually given a monkey the knowledge to understand whether to jump or not. Monkey need not study physics, need not take a paper and make calculations. If I jump from this branch to this branch, my speed will be this, my velocity will be this, my load will be this. Can the branch have a capacity, load-bearing capacity to take me this much or will break? It doesn't do calculation. It has a knowledge, I can jump. Knows. Bhagavan has created them to sleep on the tree branches. It has been given knowledge to sleep. Never ever monkey falls down in a deep sleep. He takes a turn and jump. Doesn't happen. But your 2-year baby, you need to put pillows if the baby is kept on a cot. God has given. So also we are given, that is called common sense. Though in Hindi and Gujarati people use this, common sense ही नहीं है. It is not so. If नहीं है, it cannot be called as a common sense. When you say common sense, it has to be common to all. Problem is he doesn't use it. That is the problem. They want to preserve the common sense. Thinking Indra may require there. They want to help hereafter. It is there. What is this? The basis of all these values. Or what is the proper conduct on my part? Very beautifully told in Mahabharata by Vedvyas. He says, Atmanah pratikulani paresham na samacharet. What I don't want others to do unto me, I don't do the same thing to others. Full stop. What I want others to do unto me, I do the same thing to others. And these mutual behavioral expectations. An ex-person expects Y not to do certain things to him or her, and expects from Y the certain thing that he should do to him or her. They are universal. Therefore I said yesterday, these ethics or these values are nothing but universal mutual behavioral expectations. It has nothing to do with the educational or cultural or age or sex or religion. You see, expectations are universal. Like yesterday I gave an example of speaking truth. A baby who doesn't know the word truth expects the mom to speak truth. A baby doesn't know what is hurting, expects the mom not to hurt me. This is universal. Baby doesn't know the word compassion, expects others to be compassionate to him or her. An aborigine in a deep forest of Africa also expect the same thing. Highly so-called culturally evolved and educated person knowing all the modern etiquettes and gadgets and wisdom also expects the same thing. These values are known to us, and no one requires a Swami or a teacher to tell. Problem is, as Swamiji would say, we are 50% ethical. Like in India, one person claimed, one actress was getting married and he filed a suit that this marriage should be stopped. And the claim was, I am already married to her. Since she was a celebrity, the judge had to accept the case and case on the board. He said, do you have any proof of the fact that you are married? Is there a marriage certificate, etc.? He said, yes. I am married, we are married 50%. He said, what 50%? I have married to her, she is yet to marry me. And he showed all letters he wrote with the blood and things like that. I have married to her, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Similarly, we are ethical as long as others' behavior are concerned, 50%. When it comes to me, something stifles my conduct. I told you, it's a common sense. Listen this word also properly. And please understand the meaning. Some of the words have created so much of confusion in our culture and country and religion. This one of them is dharma. People think dharma means faith. It's not true. It can be said so. Like Hindus, there is no word Hindu. Vedikas, the Britishers gave and we just bought it. Dharma means what? What I expect others to do unto me, that is my dharma. Means what I should be doing. What is proper for me to do is dharma. And what I expect others not to do unto me, that is adharma for me, I should not do. I want others to speak truth unto me. That means speaking truth is my dharma. I want others not to lie to me. So lying is adharma for me. Dharma doesn't mean just to have a faith in a particular God, just to have a faith in a particular shastra, just to have chinhas, particular this dress and this tikka and this blah blah blah. That's not dharma. That is sampradaya. Dharma means kartavya. To be done is dharma. Fulfilling mutual behavioral expectation is dharma. Not fulfilling mutual behavioral expectation is adharma. And by the way, this is another word. Even now people use it. And in India it often happens because of a joint family, etc., she cannot, woman of the home, can't come to my class regularly, especially evening, morning. And on a holiday or something, he will bring her with me. And whenever they come, they usually say this, Swamiji, I have brought my Dharma Patni today. It's so common. I have brought my Dharma Patni today. And that is not that Dharma, Swaminarayan Dharma, Jain Astha business. It may be true. One of my students often tells me, Swamiji, I accept you partially. He says, there is saying in Hindi, Rama rakhe, taise rahiye. So you just live as the Lord wishes you to live. बोले बिल्कुल सत्य है, लेकिन घर में सीता जी रखे ऐसे रहिए. That is the way to be happy and gay. He adds this, tells me. Anyway, Dharma Patni. धर्मार्थ पत्नी, न भोग पत्नी, न शॉपिंग पत्नी, न ट्रैवलिंग पत्नी, न वर्किंग पत्नी. This is another modern thing. I just don't understand. These modern youngsters marry to the person who is professionally compatible. Doctor marries a doctor only. IT wala marries IT wali only. CA marries another CA only. In this India, this IT harmonium, I call them harmonium walas, okay? Don't feel it bad. They are always on the goes on. This fellow, this is something. Anyway, this IT fellow got married to one IT felly. And these multinationals who come to Pune and Bangalore and Hyderabad and Gurgaon, they give a carrot before the cart, lollipop. They give 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 salary, startup. And then if you work little overtime, you make another 20, 30,000. It's too much of a money. Just a couple having couple of lakhs or 1.5 lakhs a month is a big sum. And they're out for money. Unfortunately, fellow and felly got a job in a different company in different shift. This fellow had a morning shift, 6 to 2. And felly had an afternoon shift, 2 to 10. And that too in Pune traffic, Bangalore traffic. So the sixth fellow guy, this is American guy, okay. The guy had to leave at 4:45. They give this lollipop. The car will come to pick you up. They will provide all lunch and dinner and breakfast in the office and all that. So he usually woke up at 5 and ran. Not 5, 4:30 and ran. The felly comes at 12. She is sleeping when he goes. And when she goes, he is in the office. Because he comes at 3:30, 3:45, and she has to leave at 12. So they don't meet. In weekend also they make money. Soon after marriage, they were after marriage. They will buy a car and iPhone, blah, blah, all things. After a year, it so happened that on a Tuesday was their marriage anniversary. And they communicate in chatting. This is another modern problem. They chat with each other from the office. This fellow sent a mail to her. Okay, honey, okay, this is my edition. Indian boys don't say that. Tuesday is our marriage anniversary. Let us celebrate. Let us take a break. Take off on Monday, Saturday, Sunday holiday. Let's go take a 4 days off. Happy. No emojis and happy faces and all that. And some exchange of some happy things came. Then he called her up. Bola, I will take you. Tell me where you want to go. She said, I'm so tired. Take me away from all this traffic and all this thing, office. And then he says, but where? Take me to the place where I have not been for almost an year. एक साल से जहां न गए वहां ले चल. बोला किचन में चल. I have not been there a place for 1 year. He said, come to kitchen. Because I take my lunch there. I take breakfast in the office. When I come in the evening, you are not at home. I end up with bread, butter and pizza and all that. So let's celebrate anniversary on kitchen. Professional patni. This is not dharma patni. Dharmarthe patni. Dharma means to fulfill all the obligatory duties. The concept of Indian marriage, we have joined together. We will travel together in the next life. I mean in this life. Next life, they will decide later. This fellow said, why this woman always asks for 7 janmas, typical Indian woman, for 7 janmas I want the same husband. The reason is she has trained him and why to start again next year. Tipi narko karo. Paripasan nawa le kya? Nawa kya harko karo. Achha barabar. I trained him to behave and the next janma she has to start from square one. So a better trained fellow is available for next 6. Then these husbands went to Lord, you should change the law. They want us for 7 janmas, but we don't want. Bhagavan said, I can't change the laws. And this modern edition. So they went to Narendra Modi. He said, don't worry, I have a way out. He said, what's a way out? Put a clause. What's a clause? You will get same husband for next 6 janmas. But there will be 1 + 1 free. Mother-in-law also will be same. So women stopped asking for that. Okay. Anyway, this dharma, what I should do is know. Look at this verse. Duryodhana saying, Janami dharmam nachame pravrutti. Janami adharmam nachame nivrutti. Jana, I know what is to be done. I know what is not to be done. In spite of knowing what is to be done, I cannot commit myself to what is to be done. In spite of knowing what is not to be done, I cannot refrain, I cannot stop, I cannot break myself from not doing. This is no. As I said, you don't require a Swami or a Guru or anybody, prophet, to tell you what to do and what not to do. The emotional growth or secondary preparedness of the mind or the processed unconscious or Shuddha Antakaranam. This is the definition. That, like Duryodhana says, Jahanami dharmam nachame pravrutti. Similarly, who is a grown-up person, who is emotionally matured person, who is psychologically healthy person, one who just cannot, one who is incapable of performing adharma. Like this simple value which I said, Speaking truth is known to all of us. That is called assimilation of a value. When I say I have assimilated truth, I have grown up emotionally with reference to this truth. When I cannot but speak truth. I am incapable of speaking untruth. Exactly like Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira just couldn't speak untruth. Even though told, Ashwathama hataha. He just said, ha hataha, but couldn't stop himself by saying, Narova kunjarova najana. I don't know whether elephant or a man. Gandhiji in recent times, I just cannot speak truth. To make oneself incapable of not following dharma is growth. To be helpless to my own mind. As they say, extremes look alike. In the beginning I am helpless. I just can't speak truth. I speak untruth. When I become a deliberate person in speaking truth, I become helpless that I can't but speak truth. That is a growth. That is emotional maturity. And that is a state when you have removed all the obstructions, secondary obstructions. That is called owning up. That is called assimilating the values. What we need is not the simple knowledge of what is to be done and what is not to be done. We don't need to be taught what is dharma and adharma. What we need to learn, what we need to know is, how can I assimilate these values? How can I own up these values? To the extent where Valmiki ji says, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is nothing but embodiment of truth, an embodiment of Dharma. That is called owning of the values, and that needs some understanding about the values, about our mind, and what you gain and what you lose in following and not following these values. That is where teaching is necessary. I repeat, how to assimilate. What you gain in assimilating, what you lose when you don't assimilate, and what are the limitations, what are these values. One thing about this value, just a caution. I will not deal it in detail now, but you should know. Two things. These universal values are known. When the religion affirms this, when religious texts tell you to do, they add a concept of punyam and papam. Something to be gained or lost, something to be enjoyed or suffered hereafter. It is a religious addition. But I don't need to be told by Shastra that speak truth. That it is told, it is anuvada matram, satyam vada, and emphasizing the need to grow. Second thing, this bottom line value is, fundamental value is, I want to be happy. And other also wants to be happy. I want to be secure. Other also want to be secure. To be happy, as they said, to live and let live. To be happy and make others happy. Then to be Satchidananda and make others Satchidananda is a basic. I want to live. I make people, others also let live. That is why ahimsa is a primary value. That's why Veda says ahimsa paramo dharma. Mahimsyat sarva bhutani, etc. Veda clearly talks about. I want to know. It's a natural urge. Just jignasa is inborn. And I know and let others know. Sharing the knowledge is the greatest punya. They say greatest dhanam is vidyadhana. I want to be happy. I also make others happy. Now, though this is universal, there are cultural shades to this. There are regional shades to this. Like even that I want to be happy, I don't want to get hurt and I should not hurt. Simple example. Here we have left-hand drive, here you have right-hand drive. There's a cultural shade. There are certain cultural values that you eat this way, you dress up this way, you talk this way, you don't use certain words. That's a culture. So that is, the basis is same. If I live in that culture, I should respect those cultural values so that I may not make others unhappy. Now, life, as they say, is not black and white. It is grey. Meaning thereby, often I am met with a situation where I have to choose between the two values. Should I do this or should I do that? In this case, one needs to learn how to interpret these values in those conflicting situations. That is why we are lucky. We have a rich heritage of Ramayana and Mahabharata and all stories, Panchatantra stories, etc. They tell us how to interpret a given value. Pitruvakya Paripalanam is one value. And on the other side, there is a Dasharatha, there is a Kaikeyi who is lying, and these all things. What should I be doing? Values. These characters of Ramayana and Mahabharata, as Fuji Swami used to say, Mahabharata is a gold mine of psychology. It glorifies, characters exemplify a given value. Duryodhana, you can say, is personification of jealousy. Ravana, you may say, is a personification of kama and krodha. Yudhishthira is nothing but personified satya. How they interpret it? There is a live model, a role model available to us. What a beautiful story. There is one pair of friendship between Drupada and Panchala, the Panchala king and Dronacharya. And there is another friendship, Krishna and Kuchela, Sudama. Both of them, Sudama and Dronacharya, went to their friend with the same objective. Both of them were economically poor. Both of them were pushed by their wives, by the way. This Dronacharya's wife also pushed him. Go to your friend, go to your friend, go to your friend. And then finally gave in. Same thing. Different response. What kind of a friend should I be and what kind of a friend should I not be? What it means by proper friendship and not exemplification. Values need interpretation. But then the question comes, in spite of knowing how or why am I not able to interpret properly? And even when there is no interpretations are required, how or why am I not able to commit to values? In an airlines, whenever you travel, I often travel, I hear this. If the pressure comes down, the oxygen mass will fall down. You must have heard. Pressure. Thank God that we have not experienced that pressure so far. There is pressure here. There is some pressure. Therefore I said your own mind is an enemy that makes me compromise the values in spite of knowing. In some way, to some degree, there is a Duryodhana sitting here. Don't think Duryodhana was only in Mahabharata time. Duryodhana is permanent. Like Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi. Here, Janami, Kim Kartavyam, still not able to do. He said, Kenapi devena rudisthitena yatha prayukto tathat karosmiham. Somebody outside force is propelling, compelling me. There is no outside force. Your own unconscious, your own wrong values, improper values, other values take over. We need to know what I lose when I compromise these values. In one word, as I mentioned yesterday, Satyam, Ahimsa, Kshama, Karuna, all are expression of self. The Ananda at emotional level is truth. Ananda at emotional level is Daya, Karuna, Kshama, Ahimsa. That is expression of self. Whenever I compromise this universal value, I am losing myself. Already I am alienated. Already I am away from myself because of ignorance. Already the self is covered because of my buddhi is covered with ignorance. That covering, that Gyanum becomes condensed. Covering becomes thicker and thicker. You lose it. How? That detail we need to understand. When you see through the losses involved, one would give up. You know this, especially in India, tobacco chewing is very much there. And any doctor you go, they show all the faces, what happens by eating tobacco. When you see this, then the fellow realizes, oh my gosh, this is a problem. That only will motivate him to work to give up. Giving up may take time. You know, like smoke. It has to see through what I am losing by smoking, what I am losing by drinking, what I am losing by drinking, etc. When one sees, then only one starts the process of addressing oneself to growing out of this. That part needs little unfoldment. And when you see this, then when there is a cognitive clarity, it becomes easy to address emotional problems. You are aware about the problem, you become aware about the consequences, and you become aware about what you lose and what I should be gaining, then one starts working. That analysis we shall see tomorrow and get into those values from tomorrow onwards. What you lose by not following individual values, and before that, in general, this attitude, absence of these attitudes and values, how it affects me, that we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.